Now we'll talk about some of the types of projects that our interns engage in throughout the dietetic internship year. First thing I'm going to tell you is that you will need to do a lot of different types of presentations throughout our internship year. This is going to vary from rotation to rotation and then from one experience to the next in didactic, but it's pretty much embedded in every rotation type that you complete here. In food service management, you will complete a presentation possibly to community members, to food service employees, to managers. You'll be reporting on the types of work that you're doing, the projects that you're completing, but there will be some amount of public speaking there. In clinical, your major project is to complete a case study on one of the patients on whom you've been working. And this is something that you'll present to the dietitians at the facility and in many cases to other health discipline members as well. And that is one where you go pretty in depth. You do a lot of research regarding the either MNT procedure and or the disease state. You usually have to go into the disease state in a good amount of detail. And so that's something when you're presenting in front of healthcare practitioners that, of course, you need to be able to go into a real level of depth to be able to do that well. And then we do a kind of twist on that presentation. After you've done it at the hospital, you will do a different version of the same presentation for seniors in our DPD program who are completing their final quarter. We're on the quarter system here at Cal Poly, so their final quarter of clinical nutrition. And so you'll present that same patient case, but in this case, you'll be presenting, of course, to a very different audience. So in that situation, you need to make that presentation interactive. You need to stop and get the students to think about what is their clinical diagnosis, their nutrition diagnosis, what steps would they take, what interventions would they implement with that patient. So it becomes, again, a different way of looking at that same patient and how to present on that patient. In your community rotation, you will do presentations to a wide variety of community members, and that must include at least one presentation to a youth audience. And that can be anywhere from pre-kindergarten up through high school students. But and many of our rotation sites give you opportunities to work with lots of different audiences and often including multiple youth audiences. But our interns also work with adults, with seniors, with pregnant moms, with health professionals, and health educators. So a lot of variety there. And then in our didactic setting, you do quite a few presentations as well. The most significant one being a piece that you'll do for the community here in the Central Coast that you start working on at the beginning of the year and kind of build toward a presentation in the second half of your internship year, and that is on a research topic of your choice. So you're essentially presenting on a review of literature on a research question that you want to pose and find the answer to. And you need to look at very recent research and kind of become the expert on that topic. But again, you have several months to work on that project, and from start to finish, there are multiple deadlines and steps along the way, and you do a mini version of your presentation to the entire internship cohort and get feedback from us, and you turn in drafts to me. So there are lots of steps to get you to that final presentation where you will likely be presenting not only in front of your cohort, but definitely to some of your preceptors, to other health professionals in the community, maybe some faculty or students from Cal Poly, and just other interested community members. So it can be a wide variety of audience members that you need to be prepared to speak with and educate about that emerging research topic. So that's presentations, but we do a lot of other stuff too. Our interns practice individual nutrition counseling. They create quite a few education materials along the way. I mentioned in one of the other videos on this same post about our wellness promotion project, which I won't go into as much detail here, but essentially is a large-scale project designed to promote wellness in the community served by your facility, where you have to take a lot of autonomy and kind of see that project through from start to finish. We also have projects related to sustainability. I also talked about that in the wellness promotion response here, the video here on this page about that. And we have projects that require you to delve into menu analysis, to marketing, to communicating in writing, as well as, we already talked about some of the presentation opportunities, but written forms of communication in a food service management setting. There's a food safety audit that you then need to create an intervention for to help, create new practices among the food service employees that will follow best practices for maintaining safety and food safety in particular. So those are a lot of the major types of projects that you complete in your rotations. I already also touched a little bit on didactic in terms of presentations, but I'll mention too that in didactic, we also complete case studies. Our interns will do some hands-on group work in some of the didactic settings where they're applying some of the information that we've been learning and diving a little bit deeper into. I know a lot of the material in the internship year is sort of an extension or the next level of mastery on topics that you've already covered in your DPD programs. So our interns will get to put some of those things into practice. We do quite a bit of group discussion, and oftentimes that is led by the interns. So essentially each quarter, our interns split up into groups, and the groups change from one quarter to the next. But in those groups, our interns lead us through some kind of general check-in and icebreaker sounds like the wrong word because we do it all the way through the year, but activities that just kind of allow our cohort to connect. So we get to, through the activities designed by the interns, talk about what's going on in supervised practice, but we also just share other stuff that we want to talk about, everything from how we've grown over time throughout the year. And this includes me. I, of course, don't have supervised practice experiences to refer to in this moment, but I'm talking about things that are going on in my work and personal experiences. Our interns sometimes are sharing kind of funny things. Sometimes we're talking about tough stuff that we're kind of dealing with and how we're overcoming those obstacles so that the other members of the group can learn from how they have, again, succeeded in those challenging times. So again, that can look a lot of different ways. Our interns, opportunities for us to just get to dig deep together. And they also will lead group activities and discussion related to books that we are all reading together. And that changes from one quarter to the next again, but within those same groups that led those kind of check-in and, sharing activities, we also talk about themes that have come up for us as we're reading the books. And so the group discussion leaders lead us through, once more, a wide variety of ways to kind of get at and talk about some of those professional skills. Some of the books are specifically nutrition related. Some hit on other aspects of professionalism, cultural competence, leadership, sort of self-awareness and self-care. So there are a lot of different types of topics that we tackle. But again, it's the interns who lead us through those conversations. And we also get to go on field trips during our didactic sessions, and we get to kind of pick the brains of a lot of different nutrition experts throughout the community. But much of that didactic time is spent in those hands-on activities that allow our interns opportunities to practice presenting, practice leadership skills, and again, applying other types of critical thinking or hands-on nutrition and dietetics skills and tasks that you will be called upon to perform as a registered dietitian nutritionist. So you get to try it out with the members of your cohort, and you've probably picked up on a theme if you've been following our blog in particular, or if you're following us on social media, but we really weave in a real emphasis an expectation that our interns are there to support each other, and I think that really shows through in a lot of the assignments and activities that we complete together in our didactic experiences.